Once upon a time, in a wealthy and prosperous kingdom, there was an old king admired by all for his wisdom and virtue. He had ruled for many years, bringing peace and prosperity to his people. However, as age crept upon him, the king grew increasingly concerned about who among his 6 sons would be worthy to inherit the throne. Each prince had their own unique talents and personalities, but the king knew that beyond skills and strength, the most vital quality for a ruler was moral integrity. After many restless nights of contemplation, the king finally came up with a plan. One morning, he summoned all 6 of his sons to the grand hall. Under their curious gazes, he solemnly declared, "My sons, the time has come for me to decide who will inherit the throne and lead this kingdom. But I will not choose the strongest, nor the most skilled. I seek a ruler who is fair, honest, and worthy of the trust of our people. Therefore, I am assigning each of you a task." With that, the king gestured for the servants to bring 6 small golden boxes. Each box contained a single seed, nestled in soft velvet as if it were a priceless treasure. Handing each prince a box, the king continued, "Take this seed, plant it, and nurture it with care. A year from now, bring back the plant you have grown. The one who presents the most beautiful, thriving plant will inherit the throne." The princes nodded earnestly, eager to prove themselves. Among them was Louis, the youngest prince. He was shy and modest compared to his brothers, yet just as determined to win his father's favor. Louis returned to his chamber with the seed, gazing at it intently. After a moment, he whispered to himself, "I will take good care of you. Grow strong and help me show my worth to father and my brothers." Louis prepared a small pot with the richest soil he could find. He placed the seed in the center, watered it carefully, and set it in a sunny spot. Each day, he checked on the pot, eagerly watching for any sign of life. But days turned into weeks, and the soil remained barren. Worried, Louis redoubled his efforts. He adjusted the water, moved the pot to get more sunlight, and even sought advice from the best gardeners in the palace. Yet no matter what he did, the seed refused to sprout. Meanwhile, his brothers frequently boasted about their growing plants. The eldest prince described how his tree had already grown taller than himself. The second prince bragged that his plant was blooming with golden flowers. The others joined in, each showcasing their success. Hearing their stories, Louis felt disheartened but kept his struggles to himself, fearing their ridicule. Despite his doubts, Louis refused to give up. He continued to water the pot daily, nurturing it with hope, even as the years slipped away and the pot remained empty. Finally, the fateful day arrived. The king summoned all 6 princes to present their plants in the grand hall. One by one, the brothers proudly displayed their pots brimming with lush greenery and vibrant flowers. The eldest brought a tall tree with sprawling branches. The second placed a golden-flowered plant before the king, its fragrance filling the room. Each brother's work was met with admiration from the court. Then it was Louis's turn. He stepped forward, head bowed, carrying a pot of plain soil. Not a single sprout was in sight. His heart pounded as he set the pot before the king and spoke in a trembling voice. "Father, I have cared for the seed you gave me every day for the past year, but it did not sprout. I tried everything I could, but this is the result. I am sorry for failing you." The grand hall fell silent. Then, a few of his brothers burst into laughter. "Louis couldn't even grow a single plant," one sneered. How could he ever hope to rule a kingdom? The king, however, did not laugh. He gazed at Louis for a long moment, his expression unreadable. Finally, he rose from his throne and raised a hand to quiet the room. After a pause, he spoke in a voice that echoed through the hall. Let us all congratulate Louis, for he will be the next king of this kingdom. A wave of shock rippled through the court. The other princes erupted in protests. Father, this is unfair, cried the eldest. I worked tirelessly to grow this tree. It is proof of my dedication and skill. How can you choose Louis, who has nothing to show for his efforts? The second prince, his pride wounded, lifted his flowering plant. Look at this. Father, it is vibrant, fragrant, and flourishing. How can someone who failed to grow even a sprout rule an entire kingdom? Another prince, known for his sharp wit, pointed at Louis and added, Father, honesty is important, but a king must also be capable. Louis has already failed his first task. How can he handle the weight of ruling? The arguments grew louder, with each prince voicing their discontent. But the king remained calm, waiting for silence before speaking again. My sons, he said firmly, I have heard enough. You all brought plants today, tall trees, beautiful flowers, and lush greenery. But none of you brought what I asked for. The king descended from his throne and walked past each vibrant plant before stopping in front of Louis's empty pot. The seeds I gave you, he explained, his voice steady and solemn, were boiled. They could not possibly grow. Yet instead of accepting this truth, you replaced them with new seeds to deceive me. Only Louis had the courage to present the truth, no matter how disappointing it seemed. He did not lie to gain my favor, nor did he fear showing his failure. That, my sons, is what makes him worthy of the throne. The room fell silent as the weight of the king's words sank in. The eldest prince lowered his head, shame flickering across his face. Father, he admitted softly, I was wrong. I thought you wanted results, but I failed to understand the true test. The second prince spoke next, his pride giving way to humility. I let my vanity blind me. I see now that appearances are meaningless without honesty. One by one, the other princes acknowledged their mistakes. Meanwhile, the king turned to Louis, his eyes filled with both pride and expectation. Louis, he said, you may think you are unworthy, but your honesty and bravery in the face of failure have proven that you are more deserving than anyone else. A king does not need perfection. He needs a heart that values truth and justice above all. Tears welled in Louis's eyes as he knelt before his father. Thank you, Father, for believing in me. I promise to rule with integrity and compassion, just as you have taught us. From that day on, Louis was named the rightful heir to the throne. Though his brothers had initially doubted him, they came to respect and support their youngest sibling. Together, they worked to make the kingdom even more prosperous under Louis's reign. And so, the story of Louis, the honest prince, was told for generations as a timeless reminder that truth and integrity are the greatest treasures of all. Even in moments of doubt, a sincere heart will always light the way forward.